essentially I'm the researcher for Meddling Gamers, so I'm the one that did the presentation and then did the research to make sure everything is up to scratch.
And that is the sum of us. We are a community of, we have a cameraman as well, who is in the audience, aka Agent AAA, who is here with us just recording there. We do have two other members of the core team, but they are not here, so they're watching remotely. So hey, Dandy and Honey. Today we're going to talk about the future of gaming and the importance of representation as well. Of course, as Meddling Gamers, our whole thing is promoting inclusion and diversity, and that is very important to us. And we want to touch upon what we want to see and what we have been seeing in terms of the gaming industry and the future that we would like to see in it when it comes to people of color specifically. So we're going to start off with our primary objection, which is representation or the lack thereof when it comes to the gaming industry. Dark Knight?
Okay, how do we start? When it comes to entertainment media as a whole, when it comes to entertainment media as a whole, people have to understand that first, what is representation? And representation is seeing yourself representation, but seeing yourself represented in a way that is not too damaging or harmful to your core identity as an individual, whether it be your sexual identity, whether it be your race identity, whether it be when it comes to a whole host of other identities. I'm so used to normally just projecting my own voice. So from that standpoint, we as consumers and also from the development point of view, we have to be mindful because oftentimes entertainment media will then can project a certain narrative or a certain talking point or speaking point that can also be harmful, but also with great power comes great responsibility. They can also, in the same vein, give nuances to conversations that aren't normally broadcasted to the wider media. So oftentimes when it comes to entertainment media, what you guys see on TV is, whether you like to accept it or not, you're still digesting that kind of information on a subconscious level. So you have to be mindful of the kind of biases that they can create.
I think that's, my brother summed it up correctly. We did another panel on unconscious bias actually, and we did another panel on unconscious bias and the importance that plays and why gaming and the way we are represented in gaming is so important. If we're, for example, represented in a way that's not authentic or stereotypical, it can have harmful effects on the way we behave and the way we think. I would say an example is something that happened in our own lives actually. My brother was trying to make, I always use this story, he was trying to make top Grandmaster in Overwatch, and his own yes, he was trying to do that. His own teammates were being racist towards him, the teammates that were trying to take him to being top 500, and my sister found out and she didn't like it at all. She told our parents and they told him to stop playing the game.
This is my favorite part. My sister told me to pause the online game. That is how much she knows about online gaming. Pause it. I'm like, oh, okay, bet. Let me just pause it. Everybody stop shooting.
Well, obviously he didn't pause the game. That's not possible. But he didn't get to play for 3 months, so he did not make top 500. And my other brother, my little one, he was seeing this interaction, and then when he started getting bullied in real life, he didn't say anything because to him that whole event was the victim gets punished because they're being bullied, and so that's how he internalized it. Like, oh, let me not say anything because something is wrong with me. That's why I'm getting bullied. And that was something that was happening in gaming was having real world consequences, how he was thinking, and how he was thinking that this is how the relationship between victims and bullies works. And I was like, this can't be how people are thinking because of what we're doing online. And when it comes to the online sphere, we're very much, the victim has to mute your mic if it's too much for you. Do this, do that, change your screen name. You have to be the one that has to do so many things because you're being bullied online. And it's a toxic environment that we're kind of just used to as gamers when it comes to online gaming. When I first started gaming online, my brother was like, oh, just don't say anything so they don't know you're a woman.
Guilty.
It's like, he obviously wants to protect me, but in essence, that's wrong as well. You know, we shouldn't be doing all of these things because people are bullying us online. We should tackle the problem as in it's the bullies, that's the problem, you know? You want to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, that's like what you just said. Our first experience in terms of gaming, when we were our friendship, I was like, why do you only play single player games? And he was just like, no, because I want to. I was just like, wow, there's so much more games out there. And there were games that I wanted to play with you, and I remember that. And he was just like, and I love GTA at the time. So anyone, any GTA fans, GTA 5, you know those days. So I really wanted to play that with like my best friend, and I'm just like, well, why don't you want to come on? I had a bad experience. And I was just like, okay, but that shouldn't now affect you going forwards in your experience in terms of gaming. You love gaming, you should play whatever you want to play. And then through that and other friends, we slowly encouraged her to come back on and show that, listen, at the end of the day, no matter what anybody says, and we put people straight. If anybody came to her or said anything in any suggestive ways or anything like that, or in terms of bullying, we don't tolerate that. And it's good to have people that are there beside you that make you feel comfortable. Like, we're not going to tolerate that. And there's men out there who say that, oh, just because we have a woman's voice doesn't mean that, ooh, you know, let me try and, you know, slide into a PSN chat and see what she's saying. We don't do that here. If you want to game and enjoy it and make everybody feel comfortable, no matter where they're from.
So I just want to bounce off Koye's point that as a woman, it's kind of hard even playing games, because in my shoes, I have to mute myself just to play a couple games, because anytime I'm unmuted, people say the weirdest and most uncomfortable thing, and it's annoying, but we have to accept it. So I really feel like representation is definitely needed. Like, someone should have, someone in the industry with a female's voice should definitely speak for us and let them know, but there needs to be more things done to avoid these issues. I don't know why it's like it's been normalized. It's not fair. You know, I want to enjoy games. I've been playing games all my life, and then now, like, I jump on and someone's questioning me, you know, gatekeeping. There's gatekeepers everywhere. It's so sad. So, like, I'm trying to play a game and they're like, oh, did you play the campaign? Like, do you know what gun you're using? It's so frustrating, and I'm just really over it at this point.
That's another thing, that when you're a woman and you're tested on all of your knowledge about a game, literally, what was the developer's name? What was his birthday? When was he, like, it was just, why do I need to know this information? When you're a woman, you have to prove that you're a real gamer. Oh, you only play these games. Oh, you only play Sims. First of all, I love The Sims, so there's that part. But I also like different kinds of games. So there's a stereotype as when you're a woman as the kind of games that you have to play, and what are acceptable and what are not acceptable, and what are games that women play. And that whole term and that whole bracket is really, really a toxic thing that really needs to be stopped. And I just want to say what Koye was saying in terms of allies. I didn't play, if you play online games, don't let the first online experience be GTA Online. That was my first experience. Don't do that. Don't ever have GTA as your first online game, because, boy, the chat is difficult. It's very ruthless, and it was a year of convincing before you actually I finally said, okay, let me try online again. And if I didn't, because we did have some of the guys come into the chat like, oh, is that a girl? Who's that voice I just heard? And literally, and he would just shut them down and be like, you know, just act cool.
I used to say we don't play anymore. A lot of those people do not play games anymore, so yeah.
Which is the importance of allies as well, because in some of our chats, it's usually you and I are the only women, or it's just me by myself, I'm the only woman in the whole chat, surrounded by guys. And if you don't have an ally there saying, like, I guess saying to the other guys, you know, just, you know, calm down, be cool, or my brothers and stuff like that when we're at in real life events, it can be very difficult. I would say I'm quite confident and I will speak my voice, but it's nice when you also have someone else backing you up and saying that this isn't, like, just relax and don't, you know, make it weird that there's a woman around that's like, oh my god. So
on your left, I got you, don't worry, on your left, I got you. But we spoke about what representation means to us and where it's coming from, but I think we also have to talk about why there isn't enough representation in the media. Is it the hiring process? Is it the kind of mindset? So from that standpoint, I think I'll tackle the hiring process. The hiring process in the gaming industry can be is steeped in nepotism. It's about who you know rather than what your skills are. So there's a certain company, which I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say, that not only did they predominantly hire one demographic, they hired from one particular fraternity house. And everybody knows that like high school in their terms or like secondary school for us can be a very toxic environment. And what they did for their work culture is that they just transfer that kind of toxicity and that kind of yes man culture into their workplace. Okay, you know what I'm just gonna say, activism is. So the trouble they're in right now is because they didn't take the time, they didn't diversify. Like if someone was on that, if someone was anywhere in the room that said, you know what, maybe what you guys are doing is kind of wrong. Like, really guys? Like it's not okay to be sexist nowadays? Like I didn't know that.